Triambakam yojamahe sugandhi pushti vardhanan urvarukameva vandanan mrityor mukshyam amritat. Om bhurbhuvasvaha tatsavitur varenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi dhiyo yona prachodayat. Om asatoma satkamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya mrityormamritam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om. Welcome to our Wisdom Whispers series. My name is Amberly. I am your host. And this is our last book, our last evening storytelling book for our first series of Wisdom Whispers. So as we've been going on this journey through these children's parables and stories, we've been tapping into the inner child. And through doing that, we are accepting and honoring and reclaiming our birthright to be here, our right to feel, our right to show up, be seen, and be heard with no judgments, with no preconceived notions, just us, just here, supporting the inner child, allowing them to come through, allowing them to also show up, be seen, and be heard. Because we're never outside of our inner child. Our inner child will always be with us. And so we make friends with that child and we allow that child to know that we are here for it. We are absolutely here for it. Because that is a part of this journey, is to know that there is something that we're serving, that there's something greater than just this body-mind. And as you will see when we go through even more of these Vedic texts and their esoteric and allegorical meanings, you'll really see that all of these books of faith and scripture are telling us the same things. And that's to know thyself and to really study, and explore this one. And that also means, going backward a little bit and just reflecting on what it is that has created this awareness at this moment in time, right? And so this book, The Little Soul in the Sun, was one of those that I read to my youngest son, and it was profound in the teachings that came through even for me. And I just highly encourage it for anyone who wants to read it to their child, because, and to their inner child. It is a great book. So without further ado, let us get started on our journey inward. So this is a children's parable adapted from Conversations with God. Neil Donald Walsh was the author. of the little soul in the sun, illustrated by Frank Riccio. So hopefully you're going to be able to see these pictures because they're really, really pretty. Let me see if I can figure out my positioning here a little bit better. All right. So this is the, oh goodness gracious. Yeah, we'll see. By next series, I hope to have this all revised and worked out as far as how it's going to be seen, you know. That's the thing with all of these. It's just trial and error. And I come on as a live stream, so I'm not doing it as a recording. It's just an ad-lib situation. You, me, and, you know, unabridged. To my future grandchildren, should there be any, and to every little soul awaiting birth, you are our blessing and our hope, our innocence and our joy, our promise and our evidence of God's unending love. NDW, which is the author here. To the blinding light. Here we go. Once upon no time, there was a little soul who said to God, I know who I am. And God said, that's wonderful. Who are you? And the little soul shouted, I'm the light. And God smiled a big smile. That's right, God exclaimed. You are the light. The little soul was so happy, for it had figured out what all the little souls in the kingdom were there to figure out. Wow, said the little soul. This is really cool. But soon, knowing who it was not enough. The little soul felt stirrings inside and now wanted to be who it was. And so, the little soul went back to God, which is not a bad idea for all souls who want to be who they really are, and said, Hi, God. Now that I know who I am, is it okay for me to be it? And God said, You mean you want to be who you already are? Well, replied the little soul, it's one thing to know who I am, and another thing altogether to actually be it. I want to feel what it's like to be the light. But you already are the light, God repeated, smiling again. Yes, but I want to see what it feels like, cried the little soul. Well, said God with a chuckle, I suppose I should have known. You always were the adventuresome one. And then God's expression changed. There's only one thing. What? Asked the little soul. Well, there's nothing else but the light. You see, I created nothing but what you are. And so, there is no easy way for you to experience yourself as who you are, since there is nothing that you are not. Huh? Said the little soul, who was now a little confused. Think of it this way, said God. You are like a candle in the sun. Oh, you're there all right, along with a million cajillion other candles who make up the sun. And the sun would not be the sun without you. Nay, it would be a sun without one of its candles. And that would not be the sun at all, for it would not shine as brightly. Yet, how to know yourself as the light when you are amidst the light? That is the question. Well, the little soul perked up. You're God. Think of something. Once more, God smiled. I already have. God said, since you cannot see yourself as the light when you are in the light, we'll surround you with darkness. What's darkness? The little soul asked. God replied, it is that which you are not. Will I be afraid of the dark? Cried the little soul. Only if you choose to be, God answered. There is nothing really to be afraid of, unless you decide that there is. You see, we are making it all up. We are pretending. Oh, said the little soul, and felt better already. Then God explained that in order to experience anything at all, the exact opposite of it will appear. It is a great gift, God said, because without it, you could not know what anything is like. You could not know warm without cold, up without down, fast without slow. You could not know left without right, here without there, now without then. And so, God concluded, when you are surrounded with darkness, do not shake your fist and raise your voice and curse the darkness. Nay, rather be a light unto the darkness. And don't be mad about it. Then you will know who you really are, and all others will know too. Let your light so shine that everyone will know how special you are. You mean it's okay to let others see how special I am? Asked the little soul. Of course, God chuckled. It's very okay. But remember, special does not mean better. Everyone is special, each in their own way. Yet, many others have forgotten that. They will see that it is okay for them to be special only when you see that it is okay for you to be special. Wow, said the little soul, dancing and skipping and laughing and jumping with joy. I can be as special as I want to be. Yes, and you can start right now, said God, who was dancing and skipping and laughing right along with the little soul. What part of special do you want to be? What part of special? The little soul repeated. I don't understand. Well, God explained, being the light is being special, and being special has a lot of parts to it. It is special to be kind. It is special to be gentle. It is special to be creative. It is special to be patient. Can you think of any other ways it is special to be? The little soul sat quietly for a moment. I can think of lots of ways to be special, the little soul then exclaimed. It's special to be helpful. It's special to be sharing. It's special to be friendly. It is special to be considerate of others. Yes, God agreed. And you can be all of those things, or any part of special you wish to be, at any moment. That's what it means to be the light. I know what I want to be. I know what I want to be, the little soul announced with great excitement. I want to be the little part of special called forgiving. Isn't it special to be forgiving? Oh, yes, God assured the little soul. That is very special. Okay, said the little soul, That's what I want to be. I want to be forgiving. I want to experience myself as that. Good, said God. But there's one thing you should know. The little soul was becoming a bit impatient now. It always seemed as though there were some complication. What is it? The little soul sighed. Well, there's no one to forgive. No one? The little soul could hardly believe what he had said. Or what had been said. No one, God repeated. Everything I have made is perfect. There is not a single soul in all creation less perfect than you. Look around you. It was then that the little soul realized a large crowd had gathered. Souls had come from far and wide, from all over the kingdom. For the word had gone forth that the little soul was having this extraordinary conversation with God, and everyone wanted to hear what they were saying. Looking at the countless other souls gathered there, the little soul had to agree. None appeared less wonderful, less magnificent, or less perfect than the little soul itself. Such was the wonder of the souls gathered round, and so bright was their light, that the little soul could scarcely gaze upon them. Who then to forgive? Asked God. Boy, this is going to be no fun at all, grumbled the little soul. I wanted to experience myself as one who forgives. I wanted to know what that part of special felt like. And the little soul learned what it must feel like to be sad. But just then, a friendly soul stepped forward from the crowd. Not to worry, little soul, the friendly soul said. I will help you. You will? The little soul brightened. But what can you do? Why, I can give you someone to forgive. You can? Certainly, chirped the friendly soul. I can come into your next lifetime and do something for you to forgive. But why? Why would you do that? The little soul asked. You, who are a being of such utter perfection, you, who vibrate with such a speed that it creates a light so bright that I can hardly gaze upon you. What could cause you to want to slow down your vibration to such a speed that your bright light would become dark and dense? What could cause you, who are so light that you dance upon the stars and move throughout the kingdom with the speed of your thought, to come into my life and make yourself so heavy that you could do this bad thing? Simple, the friendly soul said. I would do it because I love you. The little soul seemed surprised at the answer. Don't be so amazed, said the friendly soul. You have done the same for me. Don't you remember? Oh, we have danced together, you and I, many times. Through the eons and across all the ages have we danced. Across all time and in many places have we played together. You just don't remember. We have both been all of it. We have been the up and the down of it, the left and the right of it. We have been the here and the there of it, the now and the then of it. We have been the male and the female, the good and the bad. We have been both victim and the villain of it. Thus have we come together, you and I, many times before, each bringing to the other the exact and perfect opportunity to express and to experience who we really are. And so, the friendly soul explained a little further, I will come into your next lifetime and be the bad one this time. I will do something really terrible. And then you can experience yourself as the one who forgives. But what will you do? The little soul asked, just a little nervously. That will be so terrible. Oh, replied the friendly soul with a twinkle. We'll think of something. Then the friendly soul seemed to turn serious and said in a quiet voice, You are right about one thing, you know. I will have to slow down my vibration and become very heavy to do this not so nice thing. I will have to pretend to be something very unlike myself, and so I have but one favor to ask of you in return. Oh, anything, cried the little soul, and began to dance and sing. I get to be forgiving, I get to be forgiving. And then the little soul saw that the friendly soul was remaining very quiet. What is it? The little soul asked. What can I do for you? You're such an angel to be willing to do this for me. Of course, this friendly soul is an angel, God interrupted. Everyone is. Always remember, I have sent you nothing but angels. And so the little soul wanted more than ever to grant the friendly soul's request. What can I do for you? The little soul asked again. In the moment that I strike you and smite you, the friendly soul replied, in the moment that I do the worst to you that you could possibly imagine. In that very moment, yes, the little soul interrupted, yes, the friendly soul became quieter still. Remember who I really am. Oh, I will, cried the little soul. I promise. I will always remember you as I see you right here, right now. Good, said the friendly soul, because, you see, you will have been pretending so hard. I will have forgotten myself, and if you don't remember me as I really am, I may not be able to remember for a very long time. And if I forget who I am, you may even forget who you are, and we will both be lost. Then we will need another soul to come along and remind us both of who we are. No, we won't. The little soul promised again. I will remember you, and I will thank you for bringing me this gift, the chance to experience myself as who I am. And so, the agreement was made, and the little soul went forth into a new lifetime, excited to be the light, which was very special, and excited to be that part of special called forgiveness. And the little soul waited anxiously to be able to experience itself as forgiveness, and to thank whatever other soul made it possible. And at all the moments in that new lifetime, whenever a new soul appeared on the scene, whether that new soul brought joy or sadness, and especially if it brought sadness, the little soul thought of what God had said. Always remember, I have sent you nothing but angels. The end. So this is a note from Neil Donald Walsh, the author. I'm just going to read this. Dear parents and all lovers of children, this wonderful story gives children a new way of looking at why, quote, bad things sometimes happen, and a new way of dealing with those things when they occur. The story also teaches that it is very okay to consider yourself special and to let others know just how special we all are. Finally, the story shows that everyone is loved by God in the same way, and that even people we may not consider to be our friends may be God's angels in disguise, sent to us to bring us a gift, the gift of growing in tolerance and understanding and forgiveness, and a chance to be who we really are. This parable first appeared in a slightly different form in an adult book called Conversations with God, Book 1, and has been retold in cities across the country where I've been invited to lecture or offer pulpit talks at church services. I've recreated it as a children's book with color illustrations in response to the comment of countless people who have written to me or stopped me after my talk to say that it would make a perfect children's story. I believe this parable came directly from God, and I know that any child who becomes familiar with it will be blessed by it. Thank you for loving children enough to bring them this story. So thank you so much for reading this book with me, The Little Soul in the Sun, by Neil Donald Walsh. Well, Neil is spelled Neale. Walsh is Walsch. And, thank you. Yeah, I wish that, go back and start from the beginning, and, if you had missed it from the very beginning, because this story is just such a beautiful, beautiful way of understanding kind of the meaning of life, and, how we might get pushed back into another embodiment, to experience and expand a little more and evolve in such a way that we remember again what light is, and that's us. And so this is going to be a shorter story time this evening, maybe half of the usual hour time, but I'll just leave you with this question. If you knew that you were the light, right, and internally you were having this conversation with consciousness, and you had this epiphany and this realization that you were the light, and it's agreeing with you, consciousness is agreeing with you. Yes, my child, you are a light being. And then you question that, and you're like, God, what is it like to be the light, though? And God's like, well, you are the light, so you tell me. And there's a feeling that's amiss, maybe, and you want to know what feeling is, right? And so then you get pushed back into a body to know what it is to feel light. But how do you know that without being in the absence of it? And so that's what the story is really trying to encompass, is that, yeah, we are a special sort of light. and we have infinite potential of what we can be as that special kind of light. And we can come back and embody and embrace that. But the only way to really truly know that we are the light is to experience the absence of that. And so a lot of the times the interactions that we have are chaotic and tumultuous, but they bring us to a space of grace and true knowing, true understanding. And so I'll ask you, what kind of special would you want to be? Maybe journal about it. Maybe just contemplate it. Because, I like the way that the parable says that you can be any varying degree of special that you want, or just one. Whatever it is that's calling to you to be, you can be any of those things. Nothing is limited because we're not limited beings. We are limitless. And so it's whatever we want, whatever we decide at any given moment. And so right now, we can be this certain special of friendliness, kindness, and community. And I think that that's very special. So next series, which will be, I'm likely going to take a couple months break for school. But when we come back to our Wisdom Whisper series, we will be reading the Ramayana. So this is the solar dynasty prince. So they call him Prince Rama, the son of the solar dynasty. And it really talks about how he ended up having to endure exile. It was a really, this story is like such an amazing depiction of righteousness and perseverance, and there's so many different characteristics and aspects of this story that come in and play a role in the true meaning of service and the true meaning of embodying love and loyalty and your dharma, your duties, so just like the back of it says, deep psychological insight. It's a splendid tale which beautifully illustrates okay, that's not what I want to hear. Welcome addition to the Ramayana storytelling corpus. She's retold the story in simple yet lovely prose, showing remarkable insight into characters and events that have fascinated tellers and audiences for millennia. For young readers, here's an ideal introduction to Valmiki's classic tale of good and evil. So, the reason that we are going with this one first is because the books to come, I'll just grab a couple of them and show you how thick they are and just some of the wording in them. So just a few that are on my altar now. So in the Vedas, there are many texts, but there are some really important ones. The Bhagavad Gita is definitely one that is incredibly important. This book is it's coming at the tail end of a long story of an imbalance in power, and it's also a battle of good and evil, a good versus evil, against a dynasty, another one, and Arjuna is a part of the Pandava clan, and he is having a conversation with Sri Krishna about what he needs to be doing. And the discussion goes over an 18-day period, which is like the length of the battle. And he starts to talk to Krishna about, like, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to be acting? Um, I don't understand how, if the morals say that I'm not supposed to be harming anyone, that I'm supposed to be killing my brethren and my ancestors. It doesn't make any sense to me. And so then Krishna reassures Arjuna that that this battle that he's going through, he has to fight. He can't negate it. And so the Gita is not telling us that we need to go fight a battle outside of us. The battle is always within, right? And so that battle of good and evil is an inward battle. And the conversation that they're having is how to be a good human being in this existence. And Krishna is talking about the Kali Yuga, which is the time of ignorance, the era of ignorance, and what we can do as householders, truly, not just sannyasis, the ones that are ascetics that are going into a cave or going and living in a hermitage. The people that are really living, in the villages or in regular homes that still have, regular everyday lives. Let's call them mundane lives, but they are this existence. And how can they progress through this existence rightfully and righteously, where they will leave and transition from this body with light hearts? So that's really the premise of the Gita. And then the Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is Canto 1 right here. Oh my goodness. So these books are the graduation from the Bhagavad Gita, because the Gita is really kind of the foundation of this conversation with Arjuna. And then these are really going into like the history and detail of Sri Krishna's life. But way, way more than that, because it starts with the grandson of Arjuna, Parikshit, in the very first chapters of the first canto. And they're talking about like divine service. That's like in the second chapter, though. They really go over like, how different Vyasas, different sages are going to have different questions and conversation. And so it kind of goes over different conversations that they are having about life and the roots of life, and how we can properly water our roots. And then, divinity, divine service, Krishna is the source of all incarnations, those kinds of things. And so what I see in these texts are allegorical meanings that have deep context in psychology. And we can take them and we can understand them by breaking them down properly and not looking at them in a monotheistic way or in a religious way. Instead, we look at them scientifically and we understand them in a way that works for our experiences, what we have been through already and where we're going, and how we can live an embodiment of fearlessness as well as understanding. Because like I said, when we go through smaller books, then we can read things like, fine. with the Sanskrit and these deep purports and deep esoteric meanings, so we really got to be able to unpack different texts. And we're not going to, sorry, the light kind of got a little weird. We are not going to be, here, let me see if I can fix that. I have no idea. Anyway, going over several pages at a time. Instead, we're going to go over maybe one or two and deep dive into just like one or two of the shlokas, because they all have such deep meaning, and we can really go into like deep context through just one shloka. So yeah, and there are like 14 cantos of the Srimad Bhagavatam, but I have 12 of the cantos. These are the ones that Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, guru to many, scholar upon, like one of the most esteemed scholars in my opinion, and definitely someone who knew what he was talking about and was very devoted to Lord Krishna. But I want to just point out a little disclaimer that I do not subscribe to any specific religion. So I am not a Hindu. I am a spiritual being. And I understand the deep-rooted seeds that are found in these words, and I hold them with high, high regard. And I know that we're going to find some deep meaning together through them. And I look forward to that because, even when I'm going through these texts, I may have read them before, but when I read them again and we're able to go over them together again, that's, I think, the best way to teach is when you're learning yourself as a teacher, right? So that's kind of the goal, is for us to be able to come together and really understand these things in a different way. Okay, so I do hope that you'll come along on the journey. I'll make announcements about, when that will be. Likely it's going to be sometime toward the end of December. But yeah, there's and the Srimad Bhagavatam is probably going to take us a long time. I cannot give you a guesstimated time frame, but it's going to be a long time. So I appreciate you, and I see you. I honor you. The divine light in me honors so much and sees the divine light in you. And I'm just so grateful that we're able to come together in this way. Thank you for social media outlets where we're able to do this thing and come on and record for the world to also receive some wisdom through the whispers. Have a good night. See you when I see ya.